Okay, so we're given this problem, and I tell you to solve this quadratic equation. Now, my preferred method is factoring, and that's what we did in the previous video. There's a problem here. In this particular equation, we can't factor. Let me show you why. 1 times 1 is 1. What two numbers multiply to give you 1 but combine to give you -3? There is no numbers that multiply to give you +1 and combine to give you a -3. We can't factor it. That does not mean we can't do the problem. So we're going to go back to what you learned in 8th grade and in 9th grade. In 8th and 9th grade, you learned about the quadratic formula. And there was a song, and I'm not going to sing it, but there was a song that maybe your 8th grade teacher taught you. By a raise of hands, you may have not memorized this. You will by the end of this chapter, but how many are used to working with this? Hands up high. I've worked with this before. Okay. So where do I get the values for A, B, and C? Once we have them all on the same side, the A is going to be the value in front of the x squared, B is going to be the value including the sign in front of the x, and C is the value all by itself. So A is 1, B is -3, and C is +1. And then really, the only difficulty I see students having is actually going to be in simplifying the radical. So let's get started. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster. There's the negative sign. In parentheses, I'm going to drop in a B. A B is a -3. Notice there's the negative sign. My B is a -3. I know two negatives make a positive. I'll come back to that later. Here, I'm going to put in parentheses again a -3 squared minus 4AC, all divided by 2 times A. I put parentheses and I dropped in the following values into the correct places. Two negatives make a positive. -3 times -3 is 9. I'm going to bring down the subtraction sign. 4 times 1 is 4, all divided by 2. And I end up with x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. Now the square root of 5 can't be broken down. We talked about yesterday about simplifying square roots. Square root of 5, you cannot break it down any further. These are my two answers. And so for a lot of students, you're like, that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Watch this really quickly. Please just watch. This is the original quadratic equation. We set it equal to 0. By setting it equal to 0, I will find out what value or values I can plug in for x to have the left side equaling the right side, which means it equals 0. It also will tell me if this quadratic equation, if I set it equal to y equals this amount, it'll tell me what the x-intercepts are. So let's graph it. I want to know what are the x-intercepts. Please watch. Second trace second trace the value. I'm going to plug this in. So in the top part, it's 3 plus the square root of 5, and I'm going to divide it by 2. And notice, well, did I plug something in wrong? Let's try that again. Look at my work up here, tutors. Do you see anything wrong? There we go. I forgot it. I just forgot a parenthesis and plugging it in. So the math isn't wrong. It's just the human error in plugging it in. So I plugged in the first time where I only added, and you can see that I did come up with the x-intercept. And now I'll show you how I'm able to get the x-intercept on the left-hand side. So I'm going to come up, and I'm going to plug in 3, subtract the square root of 5 divided by 2, and let's try this again. Okay, 3 subtract the square root of 5 divided by 2, and there it is. There is the second x-intercept. Okay, I would like you to try the next one on your own. I do not want decimal answers, so using the calculator is not what I want. I want exact answers, like 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 divided by 2. Now, before I can identify the A, B, and C, what do I need to do for this problem? What do I need to do? Move the 2 over. Move the 2 over by adding it. X squared plus 6x plus 2 equals 0. So my A is 1, my B is 6, and my C is 2. All right, you have 2 minutes. Go ahead, please. So I plugged in the A, B, and C, and this is what I came up with. Now, before I take it a step further, how many of you were able to come up to this part where you have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 28 all divided by 2? Hands up high. Okay? So what we need to do at this level is we need to take it a step further, and we need to make sure this is fully simplified. So to do that, I'm going to first locate where is the square root of 28. It's right here. And many of you can just do this with mental math, but if not, you grab your calculator. I'm going to take 28 and I'm going to divide it by 25. If I don't get a whole number, it tells me that the square root of 25, I can't divide into it to simplify it further. Let's try 16. Oh, that doesn't work. We want to choose the highest number in the perfect square list. That doesn't work. Divided by, 28 divided by 4. 28 divided by 4. Oh, it works. When I divide by 4, it works. So I need to rewrite this as x equals negative 6 plus or minus 4 times what value gives me 28? And the answer is 7. I know you learned this freshman year. We're just reapplying this. Now, I know also the square root of 4 is 2, so this is my final answer. X equals negative 6 plus or minus 2 square roots of 7 over 2. I don't want decimal answers. I want exact answers that are simplified.